you don't want to just be swinging like this, right? You don't want to be looking at the wall and swinging like this. You see a lot of lower ranked players do this. You guys might be, some of you guys might actually do this too. You might kind of like be clearing this corner, but you're clearing it like this while you're looking at the wall, so that whenever you finally are exposed to it, you have to like go like this, right? There's ways to play the site that you might not currently be considering, and these spots can really give you an edge over the opponent, especially in like plat, gold, silver, even diamond. Like, people just have a one-track mind. They're going to be like go 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 go. They're not thinking should we rotate, right? Unless they are. And if they really are thinking about it, you're going to notice as well. Hey guys, if you find information like this throughout the video helpful, make sure to check out the full Valorant competitive fundamentals course in my Patreon link down in the description below. Basically, it's information just like it is throughout this video, except for over a full hour. Hey guys, so in today's video, I'm going to be teaching you some competitive fundamentals that will help you improve significantly, especially if you're ascendant or below. The lower rank you are, the more some of these tips will actually be beneficial to you. So let's go ahead and jump right into map control / rotations in Valorant. This is extremely important. It's not something that's talked about a lot, but as you can see on the map layout that I have here for you guys, we're pushing A as 5. And what's going to happen is, you're going to walk up here. You have 5 people. Let's say that Jet and ISO die, and we know that there's at least 2 people on A. And at this point, we know that our team's probably going to want to rotate. But the problem with this, with rotating now after the 2 duelists are dead, is we have no map control, right? All 5 people wanted to start A, which is fine, right, guys? But the problem with trying to rotate now is that we have no utility over here. We have no one that was defaulting over here. Even if we just had like a Cypher here or here, it helps us maintain map control, right? So a better way to kind of look at this is going to be hard, right? Because if someone on the enemy team is pushed up here, or someone on B's pushed up, they're going to have a lot of information on us, and let alone they might be able to kill us, right? So let's do something a little different this time. Let's do a layout where we have we're kind of defaulting, right? We're defaulting, but we have it so that we're kind of going toward A. So the idea is to end A here, but let's say, for example, we're kind of holding mid and we hear someone pushing, and then the Jet is able to kill an enemy Jet here, so they're dead. And then ISO here, so, and then ISO dies, right? So if ISO dies and then we get a kill mid, we can kind of come back and readjust, right? This is kind of like, okay, now what do we want to do, guys? Maybe Cypher locks up, Cypher gets a kill. This is pretty optimistic, but this can happen, right? Like, you're planning to go A, and then there's another opening on the other side of the map. So this is what map control means. It's kind of like it's like a permanent balancing act throughout different rounds, right? So like, if there's 3 people A, you guys kind of want to get out, especially if you guys have a kill here, and then Cypher's kind of lurked all the way up to here, and there's nobody, right? Because like, you guys might have made noise A main early in the round, or they might have made noise mid. So you guys can either together walk on mid now or whatever, right? Because you kind of have that map control. So my point here is, guys, make sure that you know what you're doing whenever you're 5-man hitting a site. What you can also do is, you can have Cypher trip here early in the round and kind of lurk up mid or something, so that there is a trip. Let's see, how do I do this? So Cypher trip like here or something, right? They can still get behind this, but you can trip like here or something. And, so if you want to rotate, also be aware of this. Enemies can be pushed up. So the next tip that I have for you is going to be aiming or pre-aiming around corners. And this also kind of ties into map knowledge, the way that I'm going to be talking about it. So, like, there's aim, right? Like, you need to know, like, how to aim at headshot level. But you also need to know how to peek around corners, kind of like I'm doing right now. Like, you don't want to be, like, you don't want to just be swinging like this, right? You don't want to be looking at the wall and swinging like this. You see a lot of lower ranked players do this. Some of you guys might actually do this too. You might kind of like be clearing this corner, but you're clearing it like this while you're looking at the wall, so that whenever you finally are exposed to it, you have to like go like this, right? And you have to hit a flick. So what you want to do is, as you're kind of going around the corner, this is called slicing the pie. I've taught this so many times throughout the times on my channel. You see how I'm kind of like slowly, my crosshair is basically always hugging the corner, no matter like where I'm at, right? So it's always like constantly right in front of this corner, so that way if there's an enemy that's exposed, it's gonna be the first thing that I see, right? It's not like I'm doing it like this, right? So you see, I'm kind of being meticulous about it. And you can do this. You can also do this without holding shift, so you move quickly and you don't make noise. And then this also ties into some map knowledge, right? You need to know like that whenever you peek here, there's a good chance they can already be here. There's a chance that they can already be like walking out. So you need to kind of understand that, right? And you also need to know where to look next. So when you look here, this is an example. We need to kind of clear this out. They could be up here. They're most likely not going to be up here, but you can still clear it if you want. Generally, I would clear it like this, and then I would just kind of be looking up here with my eyes. You can place your crosshair up here, but I would be worried about mainly here and then here. And they sometimes behind this, and then they can also be up here, so you have to be careful about that. And then heaven. So this is like crosshair placement slash aim, but also kind of tying it into like map knowledge and knowing where to aim in certain parts of the map. So just pre-aiming, right? Crosshair placement. This is really important. So like whenever you peek this, are you looking like just aimlessly like here? Or whenever you peek this, are you like actually slicing the pie because you know where enemies can be peeking? You know that they can walk up here and be in this corner early in the round. You know that they can be right here. You know that they're very likely to be right here because it's a very safe spot for them to be peeking from. And you know that you want to peek like this. And then now you know you might want to walk up. This is how I'd kind of do it. And then we want to always clear this corner here. I've died quite a few times to this corner. I spotted this corner the very first time I played this map. You want to be aware of that. Something on defense that we can talk about is not to over-rotate. This is extremely common, even sometimes in higher ranks, like around my rank, you'll see people rotate very, very quickly. And so I know this is a problem, especially in lower ranks, because people's gut reaction whenever they hear gunshots, and a lot of gunshots on the other side of the map, is to just rotate, right? But with that being said, you're going to have to, in order to really kind of get the most out of this tip, you're going to really need to pay attention to what the enemy team that you're playing in that specific moment does. So what I mean by this is, if your enemy team is constantly rotating every single round, so they make some noise over here, but they never push in initially, and then they always rotate to B, you're going to want to take note of that. However, if the enemies are always pushing in straight away, so if they're going in A every single round, or if they show B and they're going in B and they're never rotating, take note of that, right? This is going to be pretty easy to pick up on, honestly, in lower ranks, like diamond, plat, gold, silver, bronze. Like, you're going to be able to pick up on this. Like, they're going to, especially in like plat, gold, silver, even diamond, like people just have a one-track mind. They're going to be like go 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 go. They're not thinking should we rotate, right? Unless they are. And if they really are thinking about it, you're going to notice as well. So if they show B, then and you're on A, or if they're showing A and you're on B, and you know that they always push, you're going to want to insta rotate, right? However, if you know that they always come back, you have to have some patience, right? You need to not over rotate, and you need to wait, and maybe even position yourself in a spot that can kind of, like, maybe you can kind of push up. See if they're, you know, playing in here. Obviously don't run like that, but just kind of walk up. Maybe you can get all the way up to this spot here, and then once you hear them, you can be like, team, they're coming, and then you can like wait, have some trigger discipline, let them come up. There's like a 1% chance they clear you here, to be honest, unless they come from this way. Maybe they'll see you, but I highly doubt they'll clear you, and then you can get like 3. So that's an example of how you can abuse people who rotate, like 5-man rotate, and don't have anyone, like we're talking about with map control, right? They don't have any map control. So that's how you can really punish that. These tips kind of tie together. Talking about good spots to play on defense, this is something that I think a lot of us might struggle with, especially on newer maps like Abyss, where we don't have as much experience. We kind of like struggle to like find ways to hold down the sites. So what I'm going to be showing here is a couple of really good spots. This is one that I love to use. This is a little more aggressive depending on how you play it. You can kind of play like this, wait for them to run up here, kill one, and just kind of jump back, and then kind of hold from here, which is really, really strong. Honestly, this spot, especially if you're in lower ranks as well, is going to be not really something like, you know, if you imagine yourself, whenever you run up here, are you looking like this sometimes? Probably not, right? You're probably looking like over here, maybe up here, but you're probably not just staring at here the whole time. So there's a couple ways you can play this. You can either kind of sit here and wait and then swing out whenever you hear them running up, or whenever you hear them early, you can kind of peek like this. I would recommend kind of waiting a little bit until they're like right here, because when you look here, they're going to have an easier time shooting you, whereas when they're here, they're going to have to hit more of kind of like a flick up. But if they're back here, it's more kind of just like this, right? So it's a little bit easier for them to actually shoot you, even in lower ranks. So that guys is a really great spot. This back here is going to be another really great spot. I love playing right here. This is sort of passive, but really if you think about it, they're not really going to be able to plant until they go through you. Be careful, you can get wall banged through here, so I recommend just being kind of cautious of that. You can also play on this side. You also do need to be aware of like darts back here, but this is only going to really be a huge problem once you get higher up in ranks. You do need to be aware they can peek you here. Like they will come right here, and they will be able to see you. Playing right here is a better aggressive version of the spot I just showed you. But really, guys, what I'm showing you here is, like, there's ways to play the site that you might not currently be considering, and these spots can really give you an edge over the opponent, which will lead to more gunfights won and more games won ultimately. I guess the last but not least is, if you're a duelist or if you're even a different character and you're losing, don't be afraid to take fights and try something new, right? So what I'm going to show you here is, this is peeking aggressively on defense, and if you can, you might hear them running, but if you're able to kind of cross this spot as they're running, you can even kind of run for a second here like this, because they probably don't hear you since they're all running. This is a spot that's not commonly cleared, to be honest. Again, you guys might think like, oh, this is always cleared. I always clear this whenever I'm attacking. But in reality, you're going to find that a lot of your teammates don't clear this. So unless you're first and you clear this straight away, there's a good chance this person will get like 2 and then be able to get straight out and might even live, right? So this is an example of how this can work. However, guys, do keep in mind that if you're peeking and you're holding this angle, this is going to be the first thing that they see, right? There's no way that they don't see you here. Even if their aim's worse, they're always going to see you first. So just be aware that this fight is less advantageous than, say, like this fight. Just because, you know, they're going to be, like, sloppy, especially if you're, like, silver gold. They're not going to be clearing you perfectly like I am like this, right? They're probably going to be do something more like this, right? So like they might have to hit a flick to hit you. They're not going to be like meticulous and slice the pie like we've been talking about. Another spot you can cross is come up here. But anyways, the point here, guys, is to just take some fights and just be aware, like if you're sitting back and you guys are just losing the rounds because they're just running in, like there's things you can do in order to counter this. You can play spots, you can swap it up, you can pop your knives, come up here and at the beginning of the round, wait till they're pushed up. You don't even need to updraft, actually. You can just kind of jump like this and then shoot them. They might hear you, but as they're pushing in, you can do that. There's things you can do to swap it up and secure the round. You can play close corners that you've never played before. You can play up here and peek. You can updraft here, look for some kills. And my point here is, like, a lot of games, a lot of rounds feel completely out of your control, but these are the rounds in the games that you really want to be pushing the limits and practicing to see what's going to work. So if they're constantly pushing A or pushing B, maybe let's just try to walk on mid and flank. Maybe even run it down. Just see, like, just kind of testing in our head, you know, like hypothesizing, like, is this going to be something that could actually work against this team? Instead of just sitting back on B and just getting steamrolled over like 10 times in a row and just taking it, try something a little different. See if something that you can do and like, you know, flow like water will allow you to actually win the round. Guys, thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please check out my competitive fundamentals course, and I'll see you guys in the next one.